What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more reggae, and we're back for the final tune on the Brother Culture 40 Years Anniversary Collection. I am very happy to have this in my collection, not only because I followed Brother Culture for a few years via YouTube and some of his dubs that he's done, especially for Little Lion Sound in Geneva, but because I have always wanted to flesh out my reggae vinyl collection a little bit. I've had the Bob Marley and the Wailers, I forget what it's called. It's like a compilation. And I remember I tried to do a couple reactions to it, and they got blocked on YouTube in the very early days, and I sort of gave up trying to do them again. But the point is, not only is it just nice to have some reggae vinyl, but the chances of using, or the opportunities to use some reggae samples in like acid techno or acid dub and even hardcore mixes increases when you have some reggae tracks and MC work on vinyl. So at some point I might try to use some of Brother Culture's vocals in some of my techno, trance, and or hardcore mixes. In any case, the last track on this vinyl is Ghetto War. So yeah, again, the term is clear enough, or the phrase is clear enough. Ghettos, rundown slums or parts of cities where certain people are either forced to live or where they have congregated. That is more or less straight away. And the idea of a war, whether that is a struggle between the haves and the have-nots, or between the city authorities who are trying to gentrify or otherwise alter the culture of said ghettos. I feel like there could be some different meanings. Maybe wars between factions or violent groups within a ghetto. That could be another possible meaning. But on the surface of it, there's some different ways it could go, but I don't know the tune myself, so I don't have an inkling in that regard. Let's give it a listen and see if we can figure it out. This is Brother Culture, his tune Ghetto War, the last track on this career retrospective vinyl, the 40 Years Anniversary Collection.
We don't want the youth them ending up like a statistic in the ghetto, We want the youth them rise up themselves and try to make some of themselves, The gun is not the way, the shoot is not the way, it's the wrong way, wrong path. Policeman shooting bad boy running all over the ghetto. Too much violence, too many guns, too much injustice. I and I are born for peace and love, unity, education, forward progression. Put down the violence in the ghetto. What I tell them? War in the ghetto, how far can it go? War in the ghetto, well nobody know. War in the ghetto, war in the ghetto, war in the ghetto. Another youth got shot up in the ghetto last night. Sirens of yell and they were blue flashing light. I fall when a youth take another youth life. Cause mother and father over child them a cry. With conscious meditation I can survive. With rules and regulations to act as a guide. No more a situation with the blind and the blind. Babylon system have to get left behind. Cause if you slip you slide, and if you slide you have to hide. But tell them Poopa culture take on the microphone and ride. Lyrics that I've got come from inside Babylon. Runway and high. War in the ghetto, how far can it go? War in the ghetto, well nobody know. War in the ghetto, war in the ghetto, war in the ghetto. War in the ghetto, how far can it go? War in the ghetto, well nobody know. War in the ghetto, war in the ghetto, war in the ghetto. Cause if you get defeat, your life incomplete. It's better to be brave and make a bold leap. Keep your eyes on the prize, never get cheat. Me not go stop to be till me reach my peak. When I reach my peak, me a turn up the heat. Me a turn up the heat under the Babylon feet. Me dub it one away, me dub it complete. I'm cool under pressure. in the ghetto, how far can it go? War in the ghetto, well nobody know. War in the ghetto, war in the ghetto, war in the ghetto. War in the ghetto, how far can it go? War in the ghetto, well nobody know. War in the ghetto, war in the ghetto, war in the ghetto.
Oof.
Too many guns, too many guns in the ghetto. Too many guns, too many guns in the ghetto. Innocent bystanders shot. Dog white factor. Civilian targets. Talking for the youth them in the ghetto. I want the youth them to rise up. Rise up and be strong. Educated.
What a tune. This guy, like, not only do I like the crafting of his lyrics, but he's clearly a good person who wants young folks to be educated, to embrace peace, to strive for knowledge and unity, to have tranquility between peoples, to have a celebration of positivity rather than violence, youths killing youths, as he talks about. So I think actually a couple different ideas I had in advance are relevant here. I mean, he talks about, police and law enforcement authority figures being too violent and attacking people, but he also talks about gang violence and innocent bystanders being shot and young people who have their whole lives ahead of them and who could be focusing on music or on developing their knowledge, learning a craft or a trade or a professional discipline, and thus helping people, whether it's through medicine or law or whatever, losing their lives far too soon because they're caught up in these factional rivalries, this gang violence. So it's like he's talking about the violence of the powers that be against the innocent folk who live in the ghetto, but also the youth of the ghetto who, maybe because of a lack of opportunities or because they're influenced by others who are already in that scene, getting involved in gang warfare and eventually hurting others, and mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters crying because of these casualties. And he's talking about, again, war, I think, on different levels, and wondering how far it can go, but trying to provide inspiration and a guiding light for those who would see the desire for peace in their hearts. So it's like, war within, war between, and war on a bigger scale. I think it's all addressed here. And again, his positivity and his desire to inhabit a world of peace, I think, comes across in his lyrics, which, again, there's some meta lines in there about the way he's crafting his lyrics and when he gets to his peak and he feels like he's making this impact. So again, I find it all very inspiring. I do like we get some different styles of him here, the more sung and smooth vocals, then he gets a bit raga, a bit tough with his vocals, a bit of, grit in his voice, and likewise, the tune kind of has these old school roots reggae vibes, but then also a bit of an electronic and wicked, like, dissonant sound, almost like dubstep or something. There's some, heavy, almost industrial style dubstep sonics in the track. And I enjoy the way, again, like, you feel the war and the tension and the violence, but also you see a melodic root out of that, or the way to get through that and to do something better, to make more of yourself. So again, shout out to Brother Culture, shout out to those who've been watching. I know Michaela's commented on a number of the reactions so far. And yes, at this point, this is all the Brother Culture material I have. I can go through some of those dub plates in video form, because the ones I'm thinking of, especially the ones from Little Lion, he's like on camera in the booth and just kind of, feeling it and going through lines and, doing a bit of ad-libbing, I believe. So yeah, we can definitely do those over on Patreon. I will begin those in the relatively near future, but I will also see what else I can track down, maybe some proper albums from him, though I imagine when we do that, some of these tunes will show up, because this is, again, like a retrospective. I imagine, given the sonics, that this is a more recent one. I'm going to guess this one is in the last 10 or 15 years, because it feels not only post-2000, but like post-2010 or something like that. So yeah, I might be off by a few years, but definitely I'm saying this is post-2000 at the absolute farthest back. But yes, again, big shout out to Brother Culture, whose real name I believe is Simon. So shout out to him. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.